Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are doing something a little bit different here. I got this little package from Rossi Nails and we're just gonna open it up and check it out, okay? They asked me to create something with it and I'm just gonna show you what all it comes with. So first, this little dip powder. Right here, it's really a shiny, sparkly pink, so that's really cute. It had instructions and like ingredients on the back. And this package also came with 3 different little bottles. So first is the activator. You can turn it over and kind of see exactly what it's used for or how you're supposed to use it. Then the top coat, and also a little bit on the back here. Next we have the base gel, which is like when you're doing dip, one of the most important parts of the process. You need the base gel to actually build up your layers. And I know it's called gel, but do not be alarmed. This is adhesive. It is no UV or LED light required. This base gel, the number 2 that's in my hand right here, because they are numbered 2, 3, 4. The dip, I guess, is 1. They are actually an adhesive base. Okay, so now I am just putting on my tips. I decided that I wanted a little length, so I like to make sure that my tips measure up even with the sidewall of the tip to the sidewall of my nail. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply tips to both of my hands. All right, now I'm pulling out my own base powder right here. That's my personal base powder. I'm using my recycling bin from Kiara Sky. And then the primer I'm going to use is my Young Nails primer. And I'm just going to clear up my nails and prime everything. I did go online for this company and they do offer primer. They also offer base powder and clear powder. I just believe that the PR that they sent me did not include those items. So I am going to pour. I prefer to do this with my dip, pour instead of actually dip my finger in. But I'm gonna put that base gel from the cuticle all the way to the free edge on my nail. But when I sprinkle the powder, I'm only gonna sprinkle it in the middle third of my nail. This is how I build my apex. And it's easy. Break your nail up into 3 regions. So region number 1 is closest to the cuticle. The second is probably over your nail plate. And then the third would be closer to your free edge. You only want to place powder in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to do that to each one of my nails, and this is what it looks like. And now I'll move on to my other hand. Do the same thing. Apply the gel all the way from the cuticle all the way down to the free edge, but only pour the powder in the middle section of your nail to create your apex. Okay, and like I said, do that with each nail. So my only disclaimer about this process is that you may have to do it more than once. You may have to do it twice if you have super flat nails or ski jump style nails where they poke up at the end. But anyways, moving right along, what I love about this recycling bin is that you can literally pull the little slides out and put your powder back in the cup. So now I'm getting into the glitter powder. It was actually a little misleading. It looks like it's going to be this really pretty tickle me pink, like sparkly fairy type deal. And it had holographic glitter in it, which was actually really pretty. But after applying it, and you'll see, once I applied, I think the second layer, it looked really dark. A lot darker than what it looked as I was sprinkling it on. So that's kind of the trick with the dip. You really have to see it swatched out with a couple of layers to know the true color. But nonetheless, back to the actual process. Again, I'm going to apply the number 2 base gel to my entire nail, and I'm going to sprinkle this color powder, focusing it on the lower 2/3 of my nail. So before we were only sprinkling in the middle region, now we're sprinkling more powder towards the bottom half, and then maybe two shakes, maybe like two little, when I tap my finger on the cup, maybe like two taps at the cuticle area, because you don't want it to be super bulky at the cuticle area. You want it to be as flush as possible. So only going to pour a little bit of powder there, and that's what gives you that really nice shape and the perfect apex where it looks flush and then gets thicker in the area that you need strength. Okay, and that's what they look like. So I'm going to go ahead and do my other hand as well. Same process. I'm just going to re-up all my powder. And another thing, if you have clients who are afraid of somewhat like unsanitary measures with dip powder, I only use mine on myself, but I have had clients come and ask for dip powder. This is the easiest method to not have to dip their finger in the powder. You take a little cup, and this is like a condiment cup, and you pour enough powder out for their set into that cup, and then that way you don't have to dip their finger back into your main jar. Or if you're like me, you can pour. I prefer to pour because I have more control. It's whatever works for you as a nail tech. I say work with it. Or if you're doing nails at home, you can do this method, or you can dip if it's your personal stash. Whatever works for you, okay? So after I finish with each hand, I do go ahead and dust it off and put another layer. My method is the base layer, and the base layer is how I build my apex. I might need to do that once or twice. Then I'm going to do at least 2 layers of color. And since dip powders kind of come in different forms and flavors, this one is a glitter, so it needs to be encapsulated, if you will. I'm going to put a layer of clear over this glitter in my last and final step before I harden the nails. If you have a dip powder that does not have glitter, like raw glitter like this, if it's just a plain color, you can very easily put your base layer and then 3 layers of color and be done. Okay, that's not how it worked for this particular set. I did do 2 layers of color, which is the glitter powder, the glitter color powder, and then I did my final layer before I hardened the nails as clear, to make sure that when I filed, I would not file away all the glitter. Okay, so I am putting on that last layer of color on my right hand, and then you'll see me switch. I completely cleaned out my recycling system because this glitter was super fine and went everywhere. I mean, girl, everywhere. Like, it was on my hand, it was on my nose. It was just, I couldn't get away from it. You see, look at my hand. Anyways, now I'm gonna do the clear powder. And when I say you can be messy as you want to be with this clear powder, girl, get it everywhere. You don't want the glitter to come off. So just dump it, okay? Get it everywhere. And then pat, 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 and move on. Make sure that each layer that you put this gel on, whether it's your base layer, your color layer, or your clear, that you apply the base from the cuticle all the way to the free edge every single time. Don't apply it like halfway down the nail. It'll make it lumpy, if you know what I mean. If you've ever done dip before, you know it can get lumpy in between layers, okay? So I'm just gonna finish up this last hand right here, and then I'll come back. Now go ahead and take your activator to harden the nails. Make sure you apply this generously all over the nail. It's a catalyst that basically ignites the chain reaction to polymerize your nails and make them hard. I know that sounds like a lot of science, but just make sure you get it all over the nail so that they harden completely. And then you can wait 30 to 60 seconds. They should be hard and you can start filing like I am here. A good way to check is to tap your nails and make sure that they have a high-pitched clink and not a low-pitched thump when you're tapping them, okay? And then just get your file on or get your buff on, whatever you prefer to do. We're almost done. Make sure you do another layer of activator just in case if anything you filed went too deep and it's not all the way hardened. And then we're going to take our top coat. Hopefully yours doesn't do like mine did. I don't know what was going on, but I got it working, I promise. Take your top coat and do single strokes if you can. I did notice that when I got to the second hand, I try to cover all of my nail, like I want my whole nail shiny, but I noticed that the brush was locking up and clumping really bad when I got to the second hand. So you'll see me right here when I start doing the process again. So I'm going to activate first, and then once I activate on my fingers, I started trying to do the top coat, and that's when it locked up on me. Right about, I think here. Yeah, I switched the brushes. So that's also another thing. If you have the opportunity to buy brush cleaner for your dip, or even replaceable brushes, like replacement brush tops, do it, because some of the top coats will get so sticky that you can't actually use them. But yeah, this is how it came out. Like I said, it was a little bit darker. Like it's still really, really pretty and shiny and sparkly. But it was definitely much darker on my hands than it was in the jar. And this color is called Tiara. So you can see it's like baby pink. And I'll put my nail next to it. So see, baby pink, and on my nail it was more like a grayish mauve. But I liked it, and this was the final result. So like this video if you want to see more dip powder tutorials. Thanks, guys.